Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Teen Book Tuesday. My name is Lorie, and I'm the teen librarian at Manlius Library. And today I'm coming to you from my living room. And just yesterday, I got a huge stack of brand new books in for the teen room, and I grabbed some of them to tell you about today. We're going to talk about some of the science fiction and fantasy titles that are brand new to the teen room. And I have barely even had a chance to take a look at these, so let's get exploring together. The first one I'm going to tell you about is called Dustborne. And that is by Aaron Bowman, and the tagline is Paradise Awaits. And this is kind of a blend of science fiction and dystopia and adventure and Wild West, old Wild West. In the wastes, everything has value, especially secrets. All her life, Delta of Dead River has been told to keep her back hidden. Branded on her skin is a map to a rumored paradise called the Verdant, and in a wasteland plagued by dust squalls, geomagnetic storms, and solar flares, it's a map many would kill for, even if no one can read it. When her family is abducted by raiders, Delta sets out to rescue them, and quickly learns that no one in the wastes can be trusted, perhaps not even her childhood friend Asher, who has been missing for nearly a decade. But she'll need Asher's help to decode her map if she wants to find paradise and trade its location to free her family. What Delta doesn't count on is what waits for her at Verdant, a long-forgotten secret that will shake the foundation of her entire world. And that's called Dustborne by Aaron Bowman. Next, the new one by A.S. King. Everything A.S. King writes is very different, very unique, and this is no exception. It's called Switch. Time has stopped. It's been June 23rd, 2020 for nearly a year, as far as anyone can tell. Frantic adults demand that teenagers focus on finding practical solutions to the worldwide crisis. Not everyone is on board, though. Javelin-throwing prodigy Truda Becker is pretty sure her Solution Time class won't solve the world's problems. But she does have a few ideas about what might. Truda lives in a house with a switch that no one ever touches. A switch her father protects every day by nailing it into hundreds of progressively larger boxes. But Truda's got a crowbar, and one way or another, she's going to see what happens when she flips that switch. And if I tell you any more about this book, it'll spoil it. Trust me when I say A.S. King always nails it. That's highly recommended. Next up, Blade of Secrets. And that's by Tricia Levenseller. There's the cover. I think this is... No, it's not. I was thinking this was a debut, but it's not. She actually wrote The Daughter of the Pirate King duology, Warrior of the Wild, and The Shadows Between Us. So that's Blade of Secrets. Let's find out what this one's about. I want you to treat my sword as though it is the weapon you've been practicing for your entire life. It is to be of immense power, something that can defeat many opponents at a time. Something that could bring nations to their knees. 18-year-old Ziva prefers metal to people. She spends her days tucked away in her forge, safe from society and the anxiety it causes her, using her magical gift to craft unique weapons imbued with power. Then Ziva receives a commission from a powerful warlord, and the result is a sword capable of stealing its victim's secrets. A sword that can cut far deeper than the length of its blade. A sword with the strength to topple kingdoms. When Ziva learns of the warlord's intentions to use the weapon to enslave all the world under her rule, she takes her sister and flees. Joined by a distractingly handsome mercenary and a young scholar with extensive knowledge of the world's known magics, Ziva and her sister set out on a quest to keep the sword safe until they can find a worthy wielder or a way to destroy it entirely. So that's Blade of Secrets. This one is kind of science fiction-y, sort of. It's also got a good dose of realistic fiction in it. The author is Kristen O'Neill, and it's called Lycanthropy and Other Chronic Illnesses. And the inside description says, Teen Wolf meets emergency contact in this debut young adult novel about friendship and the hairy side of chronic illness. Priya worked hard to pursue her pre-med dreams at Stanford, but a diagnosis of chronic Lyme disease during her sophomore year sends her back to her loving but overbearing family in New Jersey and leaves her wondering if she'll ever be able to return to the way things were. Thankfully, her online pal Bridget and the rest of the members of Oof, Ouch, My Bones, a virtual support group that meets on Discord to crack jokes and vent about their own chronic illnesses. When Bridget suddenly goes offline, Priya does something out of character. She steals the family car and drives to Pennsylvania to check on her friend. Priya isn't sure what to expect, but it isn't the horrifying creature that's shut in the basement. With Bridget nowhere to be found, Priya begins to puzzle together an impossible but obvious truth. The creature might be a werewolf, and the werewolf might be Bridget. As Bridget's unique condition worsens, their friendship will be deepened and challenged in unexpected ways, forcing them to confront their ideas of what it means to be normal. So it's a realistic fiction book that talks about dealing with chronic illness. But on the other hand, one of the chronic illnesses that it discusses is lycanthropy, or werewolfishness. So it's funny, it's sweet, it's good. It's fun. It's called Lycanthropy and Other Chronic Illnesses. I'm not going to lie, I love this cover. It's called Victories Greater Than Death, and it's by Charlie Jane Anders. And there's the cover. And the tagline on the back says, outsmart your enemies, outrun the galaxy. Tina never worries about being ordinary. She doesn't have to, since she's known practically forever that she's not just Tina Maine's average teenager and beloved daughter. She's also the keeper of an interplanetary rescue beacon, and one day soon it's going to activate, and then her dreams of saving all the worlds and adventuring among the stars will finally be possible. Tina's legacy, after all, is intergalactic. She is the hidden clone of a famed alien hero left on Earth disguised as a human to give the universe another chance to defeat a terrible evil. But when the beacon activates, it turns out that Tina's destiny isn't quite what she expected. Things are far more dangerous than she ever assumed, and everyone in the galaxy is expecting her to actually be the brilliant tactician and legendary savior, Captain Theo Argentinian. But Tina is just Tina. And the Royal Fleet is losing the war, badly. The starship that found her is on the run, and they barely managed to escape Earth with the planet still intact. Luckily, Tina is surrounded by a crew she can trust, including her best friend Rachel, and she is still determined to save all the worlds. But first, she'll have to save herself, and that is Victories Greater Than Death. And finally, I don't normally talk about sequels, but this is kind of a sequel and kind of the start of a new series. It's called The Iron Raven, and it's by Julie Kagawa. And she wrote, it's part of the Iron Fae series, but it's branched off. And this is, well, I'll just read it to you. You may have heard of me. Robin Goodfellow, Puck, prankster, joker, raven, fool, King Oberon's right-hand jester from A Midsummer Night's Dream. The legends are many, but the truth will now be known, as Puck finally tells his own story and faces a threat from a time before fairy began. A threat that brings him face to face with a new enemy, himself. With the Iron Queen, Megan Chase, and her prince consort, Puck's longtime rival Ash, and allies old and new by his side, Puck begins a fantastical and dangerous adventure not to be missed or forgotten. Evenfall is coming, and with it a reckoning that even their combined powers and wits may not vanquish, as a shadow falls over the lands of Faerie and the world slips into chaos. So this is part of the Iron Fae world. It's the beginning of a new series called Evenfall, and it's book 1, and it's Puck's story. The back says, "You may have heard of me. Puck, Robin Goodfellow, prankster, jester, raven, fool. A fairy with seeming infinite lives, infinite second chances, facing a new enemy that even I may not be able to overcome. Myself." So it's The Iron Raven by Julie Kagawa. And those are really great books. They're a lot of fun, full of high adventure. Well, there you go. We've got 6 new science fiction and fantasy books, all available in the teen room now. Next week, I'll be talking about the stack of realistic fiction that came along with these. And after that, we'll be talking about some great books for summer, which reminds me, summer reading planning is almost finished, so stay tuned for that. You can find more information very soon on our website, manliuslibrary.org. If you saw something that you want to read today, pop over to our website and put it on hold, or come into the library. We're open, regular hours with the exception of Sundays. Thanks for joining me. My name is Lorie, and I am the teen librarian at Manlius Library in Central New York. Have a great day. Enjoy this beautiful spring weather that we finally got, and happy reading.